Welcome to the Montessori environment, where every word, gesture, and pause carries purpose. As an assistant teacher, your role in communication is more powerful than you may realize. Children in the first plane of development, birth to 6, are in what Dr. Montessori called the sensitive period for language. They absorb language effortlessly, like sponges, drawing in every drop of the world around them. You may find yourself placing materials quietly back on the shelf, and suddenly a small voice echoes your earlier phrase. We return it just how we found it. Or perhaps you're naming the parts of a plant during snack, and a child later whispers stem as they pick up a leaf outside. These moments are not small. These are seeds planted by clear, intentional language. Your voice becomes part of the child's inner language. Speak with precision, warmth, and calmness. Use real vocabulary, even for big concepts, and trust that the child is listening with both ears and heart. Here, language is not just taught, it is lived, woven into every movement, every invitation, every moment of grace and courtesy. Let's begin with that awareness at the forefront as we support the child's natural path to communication. In the Montessori classroom, language is not a subject. It's a natural progression that honors how children truly acquire it. From birth, children begin absorbing language through every sound, tone, and gesture they encounter. This deep, unconscious process lays the groundwork for all future expression. As they grow, Montessori guides this unfolding through intentional oral language, exposure to meaningful print, and materials that connect sounds with symbols. Phonological awareness emerges as children begin to isolate and play with sounds, touching sandpaper letters, composing words with a movable alphabet, and enjoying playful sound games. At the same time, literacy awareness is nurtured through labeled environments, nomenclature cards, and beautiful books that bring print to life. These elements work together in harmony, offering a child-centered path to reading and writing that feels joyful, personal, and true to their developmental rhythms. This image captures the heart of Montessori language work in its early stages. On the shelf are the most powerful tools that quietly support writing and reading. Sandpaper letters for tactile sound exploration, the movable alphabet for constructing words, and metal insets to prepare the hand for fluent writing. Alongside these materials, children engage in pre-reading exercises that build vocabulary, naming, classifying, and describing their world with precise language. Phonological awareness is gently reinforced through games that isolate beginning sounds, matching rhyming words, and break words into syllables. These foundational experiences help children develop a deep sensitivity to language sounds, setting the stage for an intuitive and joyful discovery of phonics. Spoken language is where it all begins. In a Montessori environment, you'll hear rich vocabulary everywhere. It's not forced, it's lived. We name things precisely. Polishing mitt, not just a rag. Octagon, not just a shape. There aren't lessons in disguise. They're part of our everyday conversation. Children absorb language naturally when we speak with intention. We tell stories, we classify, we name objects from the real world. And through this, we aren't just teaching words, we're cultivating understanding, connection, and the joy of expression. Before a child reads, they already hold the power of language. We're simply giving it roots and wings. I'll never forget one morning when a 3-year-old came over and said, "Excuse me, I'm looking for the small pitcher with the curved spout." Not just that thing or the cup, but with such precision. He had been pouring water and needed the exact tool again. That language didn't appear overnight. It came from countless moments of naming objects together, describing actions with care, and sharing stories that painted the world in words. Earlier that week, the same child had been captivated by a read aloud about desert animals. Later, during outdoor time, he pointed to a tiny lizard and whispered, "Is that a gecko? Or maybe a skink?" Spoken language becomes a bridge from wonder to understanding, from observation to articulation. Long before a child sets foot in the classroom, the language journey has already begun. From the moment they're born, they're soaking in the rhythm and melody of the voices around them. The lullabies, the conversations, and even the pauses. It's all language, and they're listening, not consciously, not intentionally, just absorbing. Then one day they babble. Then they point. Then seemingly all at once they say, more banana, or that's a cardinal. And behind those words are months, years of quiet, diligent observation. In Montessori, we honor this remarkable process. We don't rush it. We support it by offering precise vocabulary, real experiences, and materials that help connect what they hear with what they see, touch, and feel. This way, language isn't taught, it unfolds, and the child steps into not just the world as a speaker, but as a communicator, grounded in connection and joy. Language acquisition blossoms through naming and often starts with nouns. We point to a real object. We make eye contact and say clearly, this is a whisk, not thingy or that one, but the true, beautiful word. The child absorbs it, connects it with the object, and the world becomes a little more known. Soon we add adjectives, the shiny whisk, then verbs, the whisk spins. Bit by bit, spoken language grows, richer, layered, and expressive. And none of it is rushed. We aren't teaching grammar. We're offering the child a language for the world. In Montessori, naming is never random. It's deliberate, rooted in reality, and steeped in respect for the child's absorbent mind. From shell and firm to gentle and dash, every word is a gift of clarity. In the Montessori classroom, written language is not just decoration. It's a quiet guide woven into daily life. Labels aren't randomly placed. They live on real objects that the child touches, uses, and returns. A basket isn't just a basket, it's basket in clear print, always paired with the thing itself, offering a bridge between the spoken and the written word. As children explore, they see words everywhere, not as commands or distractions, but as companions to their experience. Nomenclature cards deepen this relationship. A picture of a sunflower sits beside the word sunflower, and with repetition, the child begins to recognize the shape and sound of language. It's literacy born from meaning, not memorization. And then there are the books, real, beautiful books. They rest on low shelves, inviting but never pushed. A child chooses one, maybe because they saw the bird yesterday, or they remember the rhythm of a page from last week. Reading happens slowly, intimately, usually one-on-one with a guide who pauses, listens, and responds. It's in this quiet space that language becomes something sacred, not just functional. Montessori doesn't rush to phonics. We root reading in connection between objects and words and ideas, adult and child. That's the soil where literacy thrives. In Montessori, we don't begin with letters. We begin with sound. Long before a child writes an or a s, they've been listening, noticing that sun and snake both start the same way, laughing at silly rhymes, clapping out syllables. All of this is phonological awareness, and it is the cornerstone of reading. We give the process time. We pronounce sounds slowly, cleanly, and carefully. P, mm, ah. No extra tacked on, just the sound in its purest form. And through careful games, sound hunts, and the magic of the sandpaper letters, children begin to match sounds to symbols, not because we told them to, but because their minds were ready. This approach isn't new. It is backed by decades of research affirming that early sensitivity to sound, this ability to hear, isolate, and manipulate the parts of spoken language is a powerful predictor of reading success. In Montessori, we've been nurturing this skill for over a century. It's not a shortcut. It's not a program. It's a deep, developmentally grounded respect for how the child builds language from the inside out. In the Montessori language area, the assistant work is quiet but powerful. Their hands tend to the order and beauty of the materials. Their voice, when used, is clear and intentional. They model, never perform. They speak with precision, using the correct names for things, and they pronounce sounds purely. Mm, t, s, no added fluff. They don't give formal lessons, but that doesn't mean they're not teaching. A child watching the assistant gently trace a letter to return it, or hearing a word softly repeated during conversation, is learning, absorbing, feeling that language is valued here. One day, an assistant noticed a child quietly tracing a letter with her finger, imitating a movement she'd seen during a lesson. The assistant didn't step in with a correction. She simply mirrored the child's sound. Mm. A pause. Then the child smiled and said, like moon. And just like that, the assistant affirmed not just the sound, but the child's discovery. This is the heart of the assistant's role, to observe deeply, to support gently, and to help language bloom, not by leading, but by being present in all the right ways. Thank you for journeying with us through the unfolding of language in the Montessori classroom. We began with the earliest seeds, spoken language, and language acquisition, and followed the child's path through naming, classifying, storytelling, and sound exploration. We examined how print and phonological awareness grow organically from this foundation, supported by precise vocabulary, real experiences, and deep listening. And throughout, we honored the steady presence of the Montessori assistant, attentive, purposeful, and an integral part of the rhythm of the classroom. It is through their care, their clarity, and their calm observance that the environment remains a place where language lives and flourishes. As you return to your classrooms, may you carry these reflections with you. Speak with intention. Observe with wonder. And remember that every word a child absorbs is a thread, one that helps them weave the story of who they are and how they belong in the world.